Hi everybody. So I'm going to do a presentation on how money works. Because a lot of people make money, earn money, make money, spend money, and that's just a cycle that they go through. They're not keeping anything. So it's not about how much money you make, it's not about how much money you make, it's not how much money you keep. So before we get into the money talk, I want to explain to people that they need to have their financial foundation. I like to say your financial foundation is like your house. The most important part of the house, two parts, is your ceiling and your floor. You don't have a floor, what happens to your house? You don't have a ceiling, your house is going to get destroyed. So you need to have a ceiling and a floor. So the floor of your house would be protection, which would be your protection for your disability, your life, and your health. There are people walking around with no type of protection for themselves, but for their lives or their children's lives. But they have protection for their phones, they have protection for their cars, they have protection for their physical houses. Does that make sense? That you put more value into these things than your own life and your children's lives? That if something was to ever happen to you, people don't like to think about things. I don't know if they think they're going to live forever, but I don't think I know that I'm not going to live forever. So I don't even want to think that I am. I don't want to even put that out there. I'm not. And while I'm alive, I need to put things in order for myself and my children. So you need to have protection for for disability, health, and death. And when I say protection, that means your life insurance, your health insurance, and your long-term care. There are so many people that are losing assets, losing their savings, losing their social security, losing their pensions, is exhausting them, their financial self, trying to provide for their elderly family in nursing care, in a nursing home. That's long-term care. Long-term care is the care needed to help you pay for your nursing home, your nurses, or anything that people need that they can't do two of the daily activities. You can't feed yourself, you can't bathe yourself, you can't walk by yourself, those things. That's nursing home care. To stay in a nursing home is not cheap. Any type of medical care is not cheap. So I'm not understanding, like, when you say long-term care, people act like I don't need long-term care if you're 20 years old. You don't know that. You don't know that. You don't know that. Long-term care is not for people, the elderly people, and they're 65. People 18 to 64 are the people that use it the most. You don't know that, what you need. And for me, I would rather have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. So the floor of your house is your life, health, and disability insurance. I've talked to so many people, they don't even have a floor to your house. The next part of your house is your debt management. You need to reduce your debts and your liabilities as fast as you can. Because the money that you're making, you're giving away for your liabilities. If you don't own your home and you have a mortgage, your house is not an asset, your house is a liability. People financing and leasing cars, those are liabilities. They're not yours. So anything that you do not own is a liability. So people need to understand the difference between a liability and an asset. Assets put money in your pocket. Liabilities take money out your pocket. So debt management is the next layer to your house. The next layer on top of debt management is your emergency fund. For starters, people should at least have $1,000 in an emergency fund. Statistics show that emergencies happen at least every 6 months. So that's twice a year, something is going to happen. We know this. People get sick all the time and unexpected things. Your car breaks down, your air conditioner Which some people, we might be like, well, why? So what if air conditioner breaks? Some people, air conditioners are medical needs. I have 3 asthmatics in here. It's a medical necessity to have an air conditioner in some people's homes. That's just how it is. Somebody might need a prescription that their insurance don't cover. What else is an emergency? Somebody loses their jobs. Happens. So you don't have this emergency fund. Where do people go when they don't have an emergency fund? They try to take care of debt with more debt. They get a personal loan. They use the credit cards. They rack up all the credit card debt just to get out of that debt. Now you're back in more debt. So emergency fund is the third layer of your house. The last layer, which is the ceiling of your house, is investments. Everyone should have investments. But the sad thing about it is that a lot of people, they just jump into investments and they don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to watch the market. They jump into investments that don't have a cap in the floor. So people don't understand and realize that, yes, you can grow money, but you can lose money. How much money will you lose? They don't know. How much money will you gain? They don't know. How aggressively are you investing? They don't know. So why play the investing game with the big boys when you don't know what you're doing? And then there's some people that have their house built backwards. They start with the investments first, and then they don't have an emergency fund. They don't have a debt management. They don't have protection. Why do you start with investments first? You gain money, but you lose money. So now you lost your emergency fund money, and because you don't have an emergency fund, you can't take care of your debt, and because you try to pay off your debt, you can't pay for your insurance. Stop building your house backwards. So now, that was my little presentation on your financial foundation, your house. So you should have, your house consists of 4 things: protection, debt management, emergency fund, investment. That's the order of building your house. Not building your house down: investment, emergency fund, debt management, protection. So the main purpose of this video is to help people understand how money works. So we're going to start with a wealth formula. Did you know that there was a wealth formula for wealth? No, I didn't need it because nobody taught me this in high school. But in the past 4 or 5 months since I've been a financial educator, I learned that there's a wealth formula. Money doesn't grow on trees. We know that because if it did, everybody would be outside picking money off of trees. You got to work for your money. So the wealth formula is money plus time plus or minus your rate of return, inflation, taxes, that equals wealth. So money, everybody knows we need money to make money. But that's just, money makes the world go round. We know that. But it takes time for your money to grow. We cannot stick our money in an account and expect tomorrow for us to have a bunch of money multiplied. That is just not how it works. And we need to be mindful of the rate of return. So the rate of return is a positive or negative. How much interest is your account going to make? With rate of return is negative, so it's positive for investments, positive or negative. So it could be negative minus negative 20, which is the stock market does that. Inflation, the cost of goods over time decreasing, your money decreases. So an example of that would be, I'm 35, so when I was a kid, I used to go in the store and be able to spend $1 and get a whole bunch of stuff. Now, my kids go to the store with $1 and they come out with 2 things. Inflation. Taxes, people don't understand that they need to be mindful of taxes. Everything is taxed. Everything is taxed. Except a few things which I'm going to tell you about. But everything is taxed. Pay yourself first. So we need to learn how to pay ourselves first when we get our paycheck. I don't have a job. So people are saying, I haven't had a job in 6 years. I have businesses. So this is my business. So yes, I pay myself first. You need to set aside 5 to 10% of your income to save for the future. Treat it like a bill. Treat it like a bill. It's your family's financial bill. You have to take an envelope and say, put your money in there. $5, $10, whatever it is. Doesn't it make sense to pay your family first before you pay your other people's bills? I'm not saying not to pay your bills, but pay yourself. Your cable TV bill is not more important than your family's financial well-being. You need to reposition your spending. Spending is a habit, and so is saving. Just as much money as you spend, you can easily save that money. What if you could make small changes to your spending habits and start saving $10 a day? That's $300 a month. Can you cut down on some personal luxuries? Sodas, lattes, bottled water, cigarettes, cable TV, high-end telephones. We don't need to always get the newest iPhone. We don't need to get the newest Galaxy phone. And most people out here, they're not paying cash for it. They're leasing, they're financing it. And people don't even know the difference between leasing and financing. When you lease something, you don't own it. You're renting, and then when the next thing comes out, you got to give it back. And this is why you're stuck in the cycle of that. Leasing, you don't own nothing. You're renting. Shopping, fancy cars, eating out, partying. The rate of return. One of the most important discoveries in finance is the rule of 72. This shows you how to calculate the effect of compound interest with a very simple formula. You take 72 and divide it by the rate of return. So I'm going to give you an example. So I'm going to take 72 divided by the rate of return, which is your interest. The answer that I give is the number of years it takes your money to double. So 72 divided by 4%, that equals 18 years for your money to double. So the 4% could be for an account. So it could be plus or minus. So 4% could be for your account, which is a positive, or 4% could be the amount of debt that you owe. So if you have like a student loan, like 4%, it's going to take 18 years for your student loan to double whatever your amount is. So 72 divided by 4 equals 18. So if I was 29 years old and I had my money if I had $10,000 in a 4% account at 29, and by the time I reach 60, by the time it's going to double 18 years. So 29, 18 years later is 47. I have $20,000. 47 plus 18 is 65. I have $40,000. At 65, is $40,000 enough for you to retire? In New York City? Hell no. No. So let's look at 9. 72, 9 years. 72 divided by 8 equals 9 years. So every 9 years, my money's going to double on the 8% account. I'm 29 years old. I have $10,000. 9 years later, at 38, I have $20,000. 9 years later, at 47, I have $40,000. 9 years later, at 56, I have $80,000. 9 years later, at 65, I have $160,000. Now we want to wonder why. At 4%, I have $40,000. At 8%, I have $160,000. Why didn't the money double? The money didn't double; it quadrupled. That is the effect of compound interest. So there's a difference between $10,000 at 4% versus $10,000 12%. $10,000 at 12% every 6 years at 65 is $600,000. $600,000 is equal to somebody's salary that makes $30,000. So there's two types of people. People who don't understand how money works, they end up working for money, which is a lot of people. They go to work every day. I hate the job. And they're just sitting there working for money, work for money. That's not me. I'm sorry. I refuse. And then there's people who understand how money works and they let money work for them. I make money while I'm sleeping. I'm not gonna be getting up, going to somebody's job, being treated horribly for no pennies. Sorry. This is just me. I'm too creative. I know that I'm worth way much more than that. Plus, being the fact that I am a stay-at-home mom. Stay-at-home moms already are in that 6-figure bracket. So if I was to work somewhere, I want that 6-figure. I'm not working for no less than that. I'm sorry. And then you got some jobs that they want to give you $12 an hour for multiple job titles. Oh no. No, 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 no. So now we're going to talk about tax now, tax later, and tax advantage. Where did your money go? Most people, where do they keep their money? They keep their money where? In the bank. So bank accounts, checking and savings, CDs, stocks, and mutual funds. Everybody knows what those are. Everybody knows. And this is where the majority of people keep their money. So tax now, that means that at the end of the year, for every interest, for all the interest you gain in your account, you have to pay taxes for it. But some people, they get the statements from the bank saying, I don't know what the thing is, the statement's called, but you get it, saying that you made this much interest, and you have to include that in your taxes for the end of the year. Tax later. So back to tax now accounts. Some checking accounts are a necessity for a lot of people because for me, it just makes life easier to have a checking account to pay bills. I don't like the mail. I don't like to go places. I just don't like it. So if I could pay you online, I don't like going shop. I have 3 kids. I do not like going shopping. But if I could pay things online at the comfort of my own home and shop and do my business at home or do my business on the go, that's me. That's the convenience. And I like the convenience of checking account. And then there's just some things where you just need to have a checking account. So tax later, those accounts are when you don't pay taxes when you put your money in. So that's like a 401k, 403b, 457, IRA, annuities, pensions. Some people know about these things because, hi Sky, some people know I'm doing a blue book presentation. Some people know about these things because of their jobs offer them. But the thing about these things that a lot of people don't know is that when you get a job, your HR or whoever is giving you, they just give it a packet and they say, "Oh, fill this out and bring it back." So most people, they don't know what it is. They're not reading it. They're not understanding it. And some people, they just get it because, oh, their friends got it, or they just get it because, oh, he said fill it out and give it back. But do you know what you're filling out when you fill out a 401k? I talk to so many people and they have no idea that the 401k is tied in the stock market. I was talking to my friend and she's 52 years old. She wants to retire at 57 and she's investing her money in the 401k and 403b aggressively. So when I explained to her, I was like, you don't have the time. So again, we're back to this time. You wanna retire in 5 years. You don't have the time to make up for any losses in 5 years. I could say if you wanted to retire in 25 years, then you would have time to recoup your losses. 5 years is such a short amount of time, and you only have a little small amount of money in each 401k, 403b. It's the same thing. It's just saying that the 401k, 403b, 457, it just defines who you work for, who your employer is. The same thing with a pension. People say, "Oh, I have a pension for the rest of my life." That is not true because there are some people that I've talked to and that I personally know, they work somewhere for 20, 40 years and the company shut down and they lose their pension. One of my close friends, he worked somewhere and somebody was stealing the money. Somebody was actually taking these people's money. So when he went to retire, he didn't get a pension. So those are your tax later accounts, which means that you don't pay when you put your money in these accounts. You pay when you go to withdraw. So you have to be 59 and a half or older to withdraw without the tax penalty. If you withdraw before that, there's going to be a tax penalty. What is the tax penalty? I don't know. And you don't know either. All that we know is what's the tax rate right now. You don't know what the tax rate is going to be next year. You don't know what the tax rate is going to be 2 years from now. Nobody knows. So for me, I wouldn't want to pay a loan on an unknown tax rate. Do you want to pay a loan on the loan tax rate? That's tax advantage. No one but the rich and wealthy know about tax advantages accounts. Well, I'm not going to say no one. Very few people know about these accounts. So these are your Roth IRAs, 529 college plans, municipal bonds, health saving accounts, life insurance, and long-term care benefits. So these are accounts that when you put your money in, you pay taxes. When you take your money out, you get your money back tax-free. So a lot of people have a misconception about life insurance proceeds. They think that the money is going to be taxed when it's given to the beneficiary. That is not true. The money that the beneficiary receives, the death benefit, is tax-free. So tax advantage accounts means you generally won't pay taxes when you withdraw money from your account. I did. So now we get to the golden nuggets that I'm about to get to. Growth or safety? Do you want growth or safety? Do you want growth or safety? I'm the type of person, I want it all. When I'm given options, I want all of it. I want it all. Why can't I have it all? But I can have it all. So when you think about safety for your money, most people think about banks because the banks have the backing of the FDIC, and your money's secure in the bank. When you think about growing your money, people automatically think about investments because of the huge amount of money you can make in investments. The problem with growth is you might not get safety. And if you want safety, you might not get growth. So it's a catch-22. Can you get both growth, potential, and safety? It could be possible. Matter of fact, it is possible. And I know it's possible because me and my children, we have accounts that give growth and safety. In my other video, I explained that I have a 1-year-old that by the time he's 18, he's going to be a millionaire. Why? I just got it set up like that. And you can have it set up like that too. And I'm going to tell you how. So, can you have growth and safety? Yes, there is an account that can give you up to 15%. 15%. That is way more than that 1% that the banks give you. Can you have safety? Yes. The lowest amount that you can get is 0.75%, which is about the same as the bank, a little bit more. Tax advantage. This account is tax advantage, so you tax-free money. You can take out your money, like the bank, tax-free. And it also gives you protection. So it's life insurance and your long-term care. So all 4 cornerstones. You get your growth up to 15%. You get your safety. You cannot lose no money. Tax advantage, tax-free money, and protection, long-term care. So this account allows you to invest, save, and protect your life all at the same time. You need to diversify your money. Take advantage of tax advantages. And you need to have a good defense with protection of your life, your investments, and your estate. Yes, people. I'm telling y'all. I'm really telling y'all. So tax advantages of life insurance, if people just don't know and don't understand. Tax-free death benefit. I already said this, but I'm going to say it again. You do not have to pay taxes on the money that the insured get, the beneficiary get. So should the insured die, the entire death benefit, including the cash value, is income tax free to the beneficiary. Tax deferred earnings. You do not pay taxes on interest in your policy. Tax free withdrawals. When your cash value in your policy is sufficient, you may withdraw it tax free. because you already paid the tax when you put the money in. Yes. So this account is called the Index Universal Strategy. So I have an example. So let's just say the first year at 12, the account made 12%, and I had $100. If I put $100 into this account, let's just say, and for the first year it made 12%. So my rate of return is $112. So I made $12 off $100 for the whole year. More than the bank. So the second year it went up and down, and it may have done a negative. So but I said before the lowest you can get is 0.5. So if it goes negative 20, you get 0.75. So the second year it did nothing. So because you got a 0% return, you still have your $112. The third year it went back up to 12%. So now you get 112 plus your 12%. So now you have 125.44. The next year it did 0. You still have your 125.44. You see how you never lost money. So in the second example, the same $100 in a different account, an account that's in the stock market. Let's just say your 401ks. This is what happens with your 401ks. First year, your 401k made 12%. You got off 100, so you made $112. Second year, your 401k went negative 12. You just lost money. So we went from 112 to 98.56. Third year, you went back up 12%. Now you got 110.39. Fourth year, you went down negative. Now you got $97. We started off with $100 for 4 years. That same $100. You lost money twice. So I could show you what $100 a day, $300 a month will do for you. Because this is my testimony. Before I started doing what I'm doing and becoming financial literate for myself, I didn't know where to keep my money. I was trying to save money in the bank, and then that's just not smart. I didn't know nothing about interest rates. And now that I know better, I'm doing better. So these accounts that I'm talking about, I have 4 for me and my kids. And this is the account this is their savings, their college savings. This is the down payment to a house. And this is how you make the money grow. So now I did this whole presentation. I hope people understand how money grows. And if you wish to learn more about obtaining these accounts, I'm not just licensed in the state of New York, so any of my friends that live in other places, just feel free to hit me up. Feel free. So I hope everybody enjoyed this presentation. I'm just going to show you something really fast. This is a book that I'm Saving Your Future book, Finance 101. Basic Principles of Building a Financial Future. So basic. My 7-year-old reads this book. So growth, tax advantage, protection, and safety. These are the 4 things that I'm getting with these accounts at 8% to 15%. If an account goes no lower than 0.75, it's a no-brainer for me. Especially people that have kids. You have children, you need this. I'm going to come back later and talk about estate planning and why people need to have that. Bye guys, have a good day.